Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel and to another post-stream vlog for Blast Online, this time for leveling stream number 3, which I've just finished and ended because maintenance happened, and this one was for an important maintenance patch for Berserkers. Apparently one of their skills weren't showing up even after switching stances, so this is like the third or fourth maintenance or patch in a space of 4 days for Blast Online. They've been really busy working at it, and I suppose I'll start this vlog by talking about what's been going on since my last post-stream vlog, which was on Thursday when I completed my dungeon stream stand. There's been like 4 days in between until Sunday, which was my third stream. Even I'm getting confused. So let's start things off by talking about the big patch, the one that nerfed damage across all classes. Every class got a damage nerf, and then some individual tweaks. For example, paladins had their mana pools adjusted so that skills don't take so much mana and everything, and that's pretty big. For those of you that have been watching my leveling streams since I started Bless, on stream number 1 you did see me struggle a lot with the early levels as a paladin because, you know, damage wasn't great, and the fact that mana regeneration was so pathetic. You just couldn't do anything. And then I started the mage, and I just, was blown away by the discrepancy in how better other classes will perform. And jumping into dungeon as well on stream number 2, you saw me clear a dungeon with some moderate difficulty on the paladin. I died a couple of times. The whole mana thing made it a lot more difficult, whereas the mage just blew everything out of the water, and I finished the first dungeon without any problem, really. This patch now has sort of turned the tables a little bit. Mages couldn't do or can't do what I did in the dungeon anymore. You can still take it down solo, but it's going to be a harder effort. You're going to take more damage, obviously, whereas on the paladin side, damage got reduced further, obviously, so it takes longer to kill things, but you don't struggle with mana as much. So I continued leveling my paladin, and so far I got to say, in terms of that patch, lots of knee-jerk reactions going around. For people that main a mage and don't have another alt, they probably go, yeah, I'm screwed now because it's no longer the OP class, and a lot of the other classes are kind of feeling that way. I think the biggest pinch here will be felt by new players just starting out. They'll be like, oh man, the damage, I'm struggling in the lower levels. NeoWiz has come out and said that they are looking at this, and they'll be monitoring the early levels really closely, and they may just drop the health pools of the early level mobs to make that experience better for new players. So don't know when that patch is going to hit, but they're kind of working on it. Another thing they said in that announcement was that their focus was never intended to make damage high for all classes when the game launched. Apparently it's all down to their new combat system that they put in place. The idea of making sure that players manage to hit their chain combos successfully will affect damage. So basically, if you want to do more damage, make sure you're finishing off your skill chains. Get to the third chain and finish it off, and that's how you get bonus DPS. Apparently that's not how it turned out, so they'll look at making that the thing for players to focus on, instead of being individualized for each class. Oh, Berserkers need to do more DPS, or this class needs to do more DPS. Moving forward, they're just going to make it so that players who finish their chains will do more damage, in addition to whatever build you have. How much gems did you spend on making a certain skill do more damage rather than save mana, for example. So that's just the balance out of things. Where the classes are at now for me, Paladin, I think I'm pretty stable. I am level 25 as of the ending of tonight's stream. So level 25 is where I'm at, and what I did on stream, I guess I'll talk about that now. First things first, I wanted to show up crafting, and I did. Basically, there's a new crafting event going on where you get extra XP for harvesting stuff out in the world, and I went on and picked up 2 crafting professions. You have a main crafting profession, and there's 3 that you can pick from. Armor smithing, enchanting, and the other one I forget. Well, basically armor smithing means crafting armor. You can't craft weapons apparently because those only drop from mobs and from dungeons, so that's where you're going to get weapons. You can't craft them in game. The second one is going to be about crafting jewelry and trinkets like rings and stuff like that. And then the third one is about alchemy and making potions and creating taming scrolls, for example. So you've got 3 to pick from. I went with armor smithing just because, I prefer to be self-sufficient that way in case I don't want to farm dungeons or whatever in the future. And you can also craft your own repair tools. So if you are out in the world and you don't have access to a blacksmith, for example, or if you got caught up in some PvP and you're far, far away from a safe zone and you need to, get a quick fix me up, having these armor repair tools in your bag, you can just individually click on armors until you've repaired the max durability. So you're going to need a lot of them. And I think for me, crafting that on my own, and then if I have abundance of that, I can just sell them for money. It's a pretty good idea, so that's what I went with. For sub-crafting, I picked cooking because there's buffing food and everything. There's things that you can get for like increased mana or increased defense for 30 minutes, and those are all buffing food that I think will be pretty important later on. So that's the two crafting professions that I went for. In the past 4 days, I've also discovered the joys of grouping up. Blast Online does encourage this group play, so I gave that a shot. I joined a guild that are pretty active, and what we've been doing is gathering everybody into a group and going out in the landscape and kind of farming these hunting quests, which you guys already know. You kill a monster and that opens up a bunch of quests to kill 10 of them, and then it goes to 15 and so on and so on. And doing this in a group is kind of beneficial because the party leader gets to pick 2 party buffs. It could either be plus damage, and the second buff could be a life type damage, which means give you more XP, or gives the guild more guild XP. So that's one way for guilds to level up. So I joined the guild raid, and we went out in the landscape and we did a whole bunch of stuff, and that was fun for the first hour. And then you realize that the lowbies, the low level players that have not done the main story up to a certain point in an area, they cannot pick up the hunting quest for monsters in that area, so they will not get XP and they will not unlock those hunting quests. So it got to a point where our higher levels were just killing things, and oh yeah, we need 10 more of this and 10 more of that, whereas the low players were like, what's going on? I'm not getting XP anymore. So it kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. But being in the party definitely gives you buffs. So for new players looking to get into like a higher raid group just to tag along and be carried for XP, that is not a thing. You have to keep your main story updated in addition to being in the level of the zone that you're in order to be effective or to make use of raiding in that area or whatever. And on stream itself, what I did was make my way from the first dungeon. Level 24, or no, I started streaming at level 22, and how did I get there? Well, I farmed the first dungeon about 10 times on Sunday morning, because if you look on Google, you look everywhere, there's going to be 2 ways to level your character from 13 all the way up to 22. The recommended way by a lot of YouTubers, streamers, and guides, websites is to farm the first dungeon until you get to level 22, and then farm the second dungeon all the way up to level 31. I've done the first part. I farmed those dungeons to level 22, and I can safely say that if you don't have the tolerance for repetition like that, you can go to coma, honestly. And with the damage, reduction buffs or whatever, depending on your class, it could be a really slow process. But I would recommend bringing in a friend or bringing in a guildie and doing that for a bit, take a break, and then do it again. Now, that's one method. That, apparently, according to everybody, is the most efficient way to get to level 22. The second way is to just follow the flow, do all the side quests in the area, follow the main story, obviously, and just try and make you up to 22. The problem with that is it's slower than doing the dungeon method, because as you move the main story along the way, there's going to be level locks, as we talked about already. So you could do some side quests, do some hunting quests until level 16, and you finish the main story at level 16, and then you realize to pick up the next part you got to be 17. So then you got to go back and you got to do more stuff for XP and then come back again. So the dungeon method 1 is all about getting straight to 22, come back, follow the main story without any interruptions, and pick up all the other quests along the way for the additional XP. And by the time you do that and you come down to the second dungeon, you'll be about 25. So that's what I did. I did the dungeon farming thing, which happened on Sunday morning, and then on the stream itself, I was making my way south to the second dungeon and picking up all kinds of side quests and stuff. So I've showed one method, which is basically the second one, just moving along down, progressing your main story with side quests and hunting quests. Now, if the level of these quests are very close to what level you are, you will get some pretty decent XP. So I definitely recommend throwing some of those in there to keep your sanity, really, if you hate grinding dungeons. Because the dungeon method, while it is the most effective, God, it's boring. You just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And there's only so many times you can do that before feeling like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. And on stream, I thought I could show up some PvP, because once you hit level 20 or whatever, when you hit your escape button, you're going to see a new panel down there called War, and apparently that only opens up at level 25. That's what it said. So I'm like, okay, I can hit level 25 on stream. So I did a couple of dungeons. No, I did the second dungeon once, and I hit 25 in that dungeon. So I was excited to show up some PvP. So I opened up that panel, and you know, it was unlocked. So I click on it, and then showed me that I can only enter at level 30. So that didn't make sense. I needed to be level 25 to take a look at what's on the panel, and when I click that UI element, it tells me that I have to be level 30 to enter PvP. And landscape PvP happens at level 30, which was not conveyed anywhere in game, which is what players expect. At the bare minimum, information like this should be in game for players to absorb without having to ask around or look around outside, you know. So Blast Online so far, the basics, the basic fundamentals are still kind of missing in game, which is, it's not really going to be an experience breaker, you know, if you don't really care for PvP or whatever, but I'm just pointing out my experiences as always. And final note here, look, I hit about 3 levels on stream, and the first level up 22 to 23, the level up message popped up and it said, you have now reached level 23. And I got shocked. I just lost my shit because I did not expect them to fix that, and it was one of the most jarring things, and it became a meme already, Blast Online's level up message. And I thought, you know, if they just stuck with that, then that's gonna be their trademark. You've become 23 level, but now they've fixed it. You've become level 23, and I genuinely got a shock. That was like a ninja switch, I guess. You know, a lot of people told them that that's kind of stupid, so they went back and fixed that. And the positive here is that they are fixing things. The negative is it's probably too late, you know, so it'll be interesting to see now with the current patches and their cycle of downtimes, which is crazy. In fact, you know, it's almost 1 downtime a day now that they're going. So I'm going to be here until at level cap. I don't know how long it's going to take me because I'm now coming to a point where XP is going to be hard to get. And I'm going to have to rely on a lot of group content, a lot of social content, a lot of party buffs and all that stuff. So we'll have to wait and see. So that's it for me and for this week's recap. I'm recording this on Sunday right after the stream, and you guys will probably see this on Wednesday, I think. So let's hope that by then I've got more to report on in the coming Sunday stream. And yeah, so I'll see you guys then. So for those of you that jumped in on stream, guys, thank you so much for the company as always. So that's it for me, guys. Hit the like button for more MMO content. I've got more videos coming out this week. I've already done ESO, Dauntless, and there's one more coming out, I think. So more to come. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I cover all kinds of MMOs, all kinds of videos, discussions, reviews, live streams, all that good stuff. So yeah, I'll appreciate the support. So once again, Adrian here, and I thank you guys for watching. Hey, welcome to the end screen. If you've made it this far, it means you've watched the entire video, and I thank you very much for that. If you want to watch more videos, you can click the cards at the bottom here, anyone would do. And you can subscribe to my channel by hitting the big round button here to get notifications on all my latest videos. See you guys in the next video.